you're watching or to listening, welcome. Like I said, it's Pride Month, and we would not have house music if it weren't for the black and queer individuals who created and popularized the sound and continue to push the music forward. If you're listening on the radio, you can hear I got some Frankie Knuckles in the background before I get into my mix because we gotta honor the legend himself, especially during Pride Month. So I was actually reading an article from Paper Magazine called Eight Trans and Queer Artists in the Dance Music's LGBTQ plus history. And it was a really interesting and insightful read. Um, I got to learn about some modern day artists. They didn't mention this producer DJ, but one of my, I think, favorite house producers who's pushing the music forward that I always talk about is Kate Trinata, and that is, like I said, a gay black man pushing the sound forward. And when we think of house outside of Pride Month, we should always be honoring that history. So, back to the article, it expands on queer nightlife's impact on disco, which later kind of melted and evolved into the house music that we know today. And when you think of house music, nightlife, absolutely. Like today, we have Smart Bar, Sunday Night Queen. We have Les Nocturne on the north side, and it's really great to see that this is still a music that connects folks, and so that impact, it was very nice to read about from more of a journalism perspective. And one of the artists features J. Wara, said Frankie Knuckles wasn't defined by being gay, but he blossomed in a culture that allowed him to just be himself. And that quote like really stood out to me. And I was like, okay, what is it about this quote? And I think when you think of house music, when I think of house music, I think of freedom. The freedom to be, the freedom to express yourself, the freedom to just move your body. And we experienced that freedom through DJs like Frankie Knuckles, who allowed this to be a playground for them to be in their identities. And so it was a really great read that just really got me thinking. And it talked about disco's impact on house music, right? And I remember disco music being like not banned, but disco got like a lot of hate in the 80s. And I think it was here in Chicago. Either Cubs Stadium, Sox Stadium, I don't remember. I want to say it was here in Chicago, where they had an event where people like brought disco albums and burned them. And it was like Disco's Dead or something like that. And I wonder, like, was a lot of that hate rooted in the demographic that was celebrating disco music? And, you know, we talk about the queer influence, queer nightlife in disco and house music. And I think it's important to unpack some of that hate I think house music or disco got, and maybe even still gets, because of who the primary audience and originators are. And so I thought about that. And I'm like, man, is that why everyone was so upset in the 80s at disco? Because it was just a sound that was pushing, you know, that was queering up nightlife, that was queering up what we imagine as dance music and what people vibe to and dance to. And so, such a great article. It's called Eight Trans and Queer Artists on Dance Music's LGBTQ plus History from Paper Magazine. Highly, highly suggest you read it if you haven't. I also want to take this time to shout out some of the LGBTQ plus DJs and collectives we have here in Chicago, because Chicago is the originator of house music, and so that's always been here. In the article I was just talking about, they were like, oh, house music is becoming popular again. And I do feel like in some of the mainstream, like I said, artists like Kate Trinata, Channel Tres are kind of making that sound a little bit more popular. But hey, Lori Branch, um, are definitely making it popular again. But in Chicago, house music did not go anywhere. The dance parties did not go anywhere. And so I want to shout out some of those DJs like Beatty Girl, who you should absolutely follow, who was actually the host of the Spotlight before I came into the picture. So Vidi Girl, super dope, talented house music DJ. Listen to her mixes. Pull up on her at, for slow mo, or at Berlin, at, wherever she's at next. Ray Chardonnay is another really great DJ all around, but also, I love hearing Ray spin house. She gets it. She is the sort of co-founder, one of the main people behind Party Noir, which is a great collective that centers Black queer party spaces, and like we're talking about house music and honoring the people that popularize that music. We gotta honor people who are doing that to this day, especially in Chicago. So one of my friends, Kiki Kuamo, who is kind of in like the techno rave space, and raves are like a whole nother like can of worms when it comes to this space, of freedom of expression. And there's something about hearing this loud kind of like house, fast, trancy sound at 3, 4 in the morning that just really opens you up. So gotta shout out the techno rave DJs. Zolita is another one who I've seen doing a lot of events, keeping kind of that warehouse vibe. I think, I feel like anytime I go to a rave or just a space that's like house dominant, I feel like we're just honoring roots of the warehouse. And so gotta shout out and support the people in Chicago who are pushing that sound and honoring the queer nightlife space, the sound. And so, yes, support those folks. To shift gears a little bit, as I was preparing, I know I wanted to hear from other people outside of myself. What do we love about house? I'm talking about the originators and honoring the originators. Well, what do we love about house today? And I was so happy that I got some responses from people, from other DJs. And so the first person, one of the people I want to highlight, at Migalini Official. These are all from Instagram, by the way. So, which if you're not already following me on Instagram, you should, at Mo Mommy Music, MOMAMIMUSIC, Mo Mommy Music. Slow mo party this Friday. Oh, there's a slow mo party this Friday at Michelle's Ballroom. Me and Vidi Girl spinning. Yes, thank you, Lori, for that. Okay, look at that. I was talking about slow mo and Vidi Girl. There's a party this Friday at, let me see, what does that say? Michelle's Ballroom. Y'all, what did I say? Support this Friday. I'm not doing nothing, so that seems like the move. Thank you, Lori Branch. Another great DJ you should follow, who's been holding it down in the city, years. Okay, legend, I tell you. But yes, what do we love about house music? And I'll get into my answer later, but I want to share some of the people who responded to my story on Instagram. Migalini Official. He said house music as the idea of bringing people together. And absolutely, yes. House music has a way of bringing folks together, whether it's at the club or at the park or in someone's backyard. I mean, we have the Chosen Few festival coming back this summer after somewhat of a brief hiatus because of, COVID and the pandemic. And I just remember growing up, when you passed by the Chosen Few Festival, or even the Free Festival that would happen downtown in Grant Park every Memorial Day, it was packed. And it was so beautiful seeing people who haven't seen each other in years. Or maybe, I remember hearing people that this is the one time together is for the festival and for the picnic, they meet up in Grant Park, they meet up at these festivals. Or I remember, I would be driving and you hear house music on the south side and you're like, oh, who is that? And then you end up recognizing someone, always the old heads recognizing each other from back in the day. Or even me today, I'll hear music from a DJ and I'm like, who's that? And it's like, oh, a DJ I know. Just because I heard the house music, instantly I was drawn and gravitated to wherever it was coming from. And so I think Migalini Official really hit on the head as far as like a sound that draws you in. It makes you like go, what's happening over here? What y'all doing over here at this club? What y'all doing over here at this park or for this festival? And so it's really summertime, especially. It's really great seeing everyone come together for the love of house. House music feels extra loud in the summer. So, yes, at Miguelina Official, thank you for that. Next response I got was from DJ La Queen at Icomida, HAYCOMIDA, period, in La Casa, ENLACASA, Icomida, period, in La Casa. Another really great DJ in Chicago who spins vinyl and has that vinyl house, vinyl, all that on deck. So she said the bridge between black and brown folks in Chicago. And yes, I mean, from Cicero to Pilsen to Hyde Park to Chatham to all in the Chicagoland area, house music really has a way of bringing people together. And when you think about some of these, Hispanic, Latino DJs, producers who came into the scene, like Louis Vega and Osunlade, who really honor that kind of Latin sound with the house music core. Oh, it's such a beautiful mashup. And even, nationally from Chicago to New York, New York with the freestyle and kind of that influence of disco and house and that sound. And let me tell you, freestyle is not dead. I went to a concert, when was it? Maybe a month or two ago with my mom, put on by, I think his name is Romo Rockin'. Oh my God, I feel so bad that I'm messing up this name because I went with my mom and she was so excited. And I was I was astonished by the full house. It was at Joe's Live in Rosemont, and it was packed. The balcony, the bottom part, and they flew in these artists, these freestyle artists, and people were singing along word for word, turning up, and I was like, wow, to hear this black and brown influence in freestyle, all rooted in house music. It is really beautiful to see that connection, that influence. It's like a language, and to hear the Latino community interpreting house music and adding our language, our sounds, our elements. Louis Vega always has that kind of salsa element to some stuff. Oh, it's so great to see and to hear. So thank you, DJ La Queen, for that comment. And the last response I want to highlight is from at Mamicana DJ, Mamicana DJ. Uh, I am so blessed to know so many great DJs and to be able to shout out and support so many great DJs. She said, what I love about house music is the nostalgia it brings me. I hear house music and see my cousins getting ready. And yeah, house music absolutely has a nostalgic element. I think for me, for so many people, you hear a Frankie Knuckles song, you hear, a song from the 80s, the 90s, and it takes you back to that time. And, I wasn't born in the 80s or the early 90s. I'm a 1995 baby, but I hear some of these songs that came out in 1991, 1992, and it is nostalgic for me because I think about growing up in Pilsen in the early 2000s and all that house music just blasting. And I think about, like Mommy Gana said, she thinks about her cousins getting ready. I think about my mom getting ready or my sisters, or I think about those backyard parties. And I, it's really interesting to see how this music that came out in 1991 is still played like it just came out, and it still gets people up off their seats. And to be able to hear music and think about summertime in the 90s, or just a really happy memory is a blessing and it's really great that house music can do that for so many people. And I wrote this down in my notes, and I said house music is the space between past, present, and future. And I thought about that because I was reflecting, and I remember I was at a party that happens every Thursday at Penny Whistle called Tribe, and I had M. Doc on the show a few months ago, and he's one of the heads behind that. And it's dedicated to house music all night long. They get some house music legends there. I DJ'd one night there with Celeste Alexander, and it was just really great to see these house parties still happening, especially in Pilsen. And so, I was there one of those Thursdays a few weeks ago, and my boyfriend asked me, like, do you feel like your mom, or do you think about your mom when you're here and you're listening to the house music? And I'm like, oh my gosh, absolutely. To dance to music that she danced to in the present day while making memories that I'll remember in the years to come. It's magical, and I think house music is so magical in that way, where it's the space between past, present, and future. And so, I'm so grateful to be here talking about house music and playing house music and honoring house music and being that space for the spotlight that bridges the past to the present to the future. And so let's get into what I'm going to play today. For when I was, preparing for my set today, I think about the intention, right? I like to play all my DJ sets with intention, and I don't know what it is in the air, but I've just been having a lot of somewhat of like a spiritual awakening, just, feeling very connected to my community, connected to the universe, connected to music. And so I was really called to a lot of that like soulful house, that the gospel house, the soulful house, the house that just you blast on a Sunday morning while you're listening or cleaning, cleaning the house. And so I feel like that's kind of the direction I'm gonna go in today. Hopefully, as you're listening, it's a spiritual experience for you as much as it is for me. And I thank you for joining me on this Wednesday night and dancing with me and listening to me. I'm your host and your DJ for today, Mo Mommy. I said it earlier, but if you don't already, you can follow me at Mo Mommy Music on Instagram and Twitter, MOMAMIMUSIC. And let me go ahead, get all set up, and then we're going to get right into it.
House music. House music. House music. House music.
This is also my first time using CDJs in the studio, so I'm excited to flex a new little skill of mine. I shouldn't call it little. I'm very proud of the fact that I know CDJs now. I always feel a little more tapped into the music, especially house music, when I'm DJing off the CDJs. So enjoy.
House music. Not everyone understands house music. It's a spiritual thing, a body thing, a soul thing, a soul thing. Not everyone understands house music. It's a spiritual thing, a body thing, a soul thing, a soul thing. Not everyone understands house music. It's a spiritual thing, a body thing, a soul thing, a soul thing. Not everyone understands house music. It's a spiritual thing, a body thing, a soul thing, a soul thing. a body thing, a soul thing, a soul thing. Not everyone understands house music. It's a spiritual thing, a body thing, a soul thing, a soul thing. Not everyone understands house music. It's a spiritual thing, a body thing, a soul 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 thing. Not everyone understands house music. It's a spiritual thing, a body thing, a soul thing. House music, a soul thing. Not everyone understands house music. It's a spiritual thing, a body thing, a soul thing. House music, a soul thing.
You know, God made me funky. Yeah. You know, I'm taking it back to the motherlode, the mothership. Well, all right, you squares. You know, it's time to get up for the downstroke. Ain't no joke.
If it's one thing I'm grateful for,
We going back like that, you know what I'm saying?
it's that God made me
Afro
funky.
pits, Afro puffs, you know, rough and stuff. You know, cause God made me funky. I believe that. Straight to the bone. Oh yeah, you know, swinging a beat like this makes me wanna go back, you know, back in the 70s, you know. Something like my man James Brown would say. Hey, yeah, you know, God made me funky. And I'm just glad he made me that way. Cause you gotta get on it. Don't let that bus clash your eye. You know what I'm saying? Soul brothers, soul sisters. Put your fists in the air, saying yeah. Something on a real old school tip. Oh yeah. You know, all I can say is that God made me funky. And I'm glad he blessed me that way. Yeah. Now that's what I'm screaming. You know, we gotta get together. Clean up the neighborhoods. Make it better. Make it all good. And it starts within. You know, it's time to put up or shut up. You know, we gotta make a change somehow, some way. As my man Visual would say. Oh yeah. You know that God made me funky. And I'm glad he blessed me that way. Yeah. Get up for the downstroke. And once again, well, all right, you squares. It's time to move on, groove on, before you get loosed on. You know, God made me funky, and I'm glad He made me that way. Yeah, taking off on that spaceship up to, you know, the funkiness, the primeness. Must I say it again?
If it's one thing I love about house music,
God made me funky.
I can just let it play, let it ride. I take my time with house music.
There's not one funky brother.
This is a genre you just want to take your
Now, when I'm
time
talking
with.
about the funk, I'm not talking about a snare, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about a groove. It's a groove that most brothers can't achieve. You know what I'm saying? You got to be funky to get some of this, you know what I'm saying? To understand a groove like this, you got to be funky. And if you ain't funky, I don't worry about it. Because you can't understand my groove. My groove is so perplexed, you know, comes from a way back, you know. Like I said, George Clinton, James Brown. Yeah, back in them times. You know, when funk is that all we had, you know what I'm saying?
Down.
millions of beautiful souls in this world, music reaches us all, making us feel good. It's a non-lethal weapon that heals wounded hearts. It's a gender-neutral religious tongue that bridges gaps, eliminates political divides, overcomes racial barriers. It feeds our spirits, bringing people from all walks of life together as one. I need you to then get down with your brothers and sisters. Don't let this groove pass you by. Make a vow to celebrate each day, cause tomorrow's not promised. It's party time, my darlings. Live. I need you to turn up.
Mighty long way. That's why we love you. Come on.
Breaks every fella. You really got to know. There's nothing impossible, nothing impossible, nothing too hard for the God to work. No matter what the problem, no matter what your problem, God can always solve. God can always solve. Cancer is a problem. Triumph today, He will bless another day. Pick up your way in the end, when you pray, I know He will. I know He will. You are the sunshine in my life. You are the lifeline. You are the lifeline. The sunshine in my life. You are the lifeline. Since then I have my faith. It has been such a change in my life. Can I get a witness? Everybody know Jesus. Won't He make a way for your life? I'm a witness. I get a witness. Everybody know Jesus. Won't He open doors for your life? I'm a witness. I get a witness. Everybody know Jesus. Won't He make a difference in your life? Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved the wretch like me. Oh, you made my day. Oh, you came my way. Oh, you made my day. Oh, you came my way.
I remember that I had nothing, desperately searching for something, never satisfied, full of sorrow, praying for a better tomorrow. Then it all became clear, Jesus kept away my fears. All I needed was a change of mind. My consciousness was raised, now that I reached my next phase, but I had to leave my past behind me. It was just a step towards tomorrow. Problems that exist will surely fade away. Leave the past behind and let the Holy Spirit guide your way, because tomorrow is another day. With the problems that I face, I get on my knees and pray for the good in them to be revealed. I'll accept that I have learned from my mistakes. I'm not concerned about what others think, 'cause I am healed. I've been blessed.
Oh, I've been blessed and I realize the mistakes I made in my life.
I give you thanks.
I say I make it through,
'Cause I know that I can't make it without you. So it's gonna be today. I give thanks and celebrate, 'cause the Lord has opened up my eyes. I got joy in my soul, and I'm reaching for my goals. And it's all because I recognize it was just a step towards tomorrow. Problems that exist will surely fade away. Leave the past behind and let the Holy Spirit guide your way, because tomorrow is another day. Just another day. Just another day. Another day. Just another day. We're working on another day. Just another day. For just a little while. Another day. Another day. Leave all your troubles behind. Today was just a step towards tomorrow. Problems that exist will surely fade away. Better keep moving on. Let the Holy Spirit guide your way, because tomorrow is another day. Don't you have to hang? Step towards tomorrow. Reason to go. Leave the past behind and let the Holy Spirit guide your way, because tomorrow is another day. That's a day. Every day. Pick up the cross and follow me. You can do this alone. And I'm happy to say so. Ooh, I'll never fight this feeling with my hands to the ceiling. I'm so grateful. Oh, I'm so grateful. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, I'm grateful. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm grateful for everything that's done, yeah. I'm so grateful. Oh, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. Everything you've done, oh, you heal my body, I'm so grateful. Yeah, I'm so grateful. Yeah, I'm so grateful. And I'm happy all grateful. Yeah, you did it, I'm so grateful. You did it for me, yeah, yeah. Oh, that's why I lift my hands. Yeah, that's why I do my dance. Yeah, 'cause I appreciate everything you've done for me. Yeah, oh, yeah, I appreciate it. Oh, I'm so grateful, yeah. Oh, I really wanna thank you. I really wanna thank you. Yeah, I really wanna shine again. You don't
one more song for y'all after this. So thank you for tuning into the Vintage House Show Spotlight. It's been such a pleasure. I'm your host, DJ Mo Mommy. Be sure to check in every second Wednesday. I'll be back with more guests, more hot topics. So thank y'all for tuning in and dancing with me.
Damn, it's DJ Mo Mommy.
The Lord's been good to us. He poured me up strength. The Lord's been good to us. He poured me up strength. The Lord's been good to us. He poured me up strength. He poured me up honor. Come on, make a joyful noise. Make a joyful noise to the Lord. For he is worthy. For he is worthy. Sing unto him. He's worthy.
Once again, y'all, that was a blast. I hope you had just as much fun as I did dancing in here and just praising the spirit. Whether you're religious or not, there is just something so spiritual about house music. So thank you for spending your Wednesday night with me, whether you're in your car, at home. I hope you had a good time. This is DJ Mo Mommy signing off for the Vintage House Show Spotlight. Thank you for tuning in to WNUR 89.3 FM and HD1 Evanston, Chicago. I will see y'all next month where I'm here every second Wednesday. So be sure to tune back in. Keep up with me on Instagram at Mo Mommy Music, MOMAMIMUSIC. And be safe. Have a great night, y'all.